Hello and welcome along to Champ.ie Season 5, Episode 27. And we've got a very good show for you. Harry Swan is on the way. We've got Jane Davis of Red Mills. And as always, Barry Doyle is here with me to look ahead to the 5 key races that we have for you this week. 2 of those come at Gowran Park on Saturday. 2 come from Ascot. And we'll look ahead to 1 at Haydock, which is the Grand National Trial. We also, of course, want you to like, subscribe and comment with your 5-cast selections. And, of course, to be in with a chance, we'll have a great competition as well, Barry, and some lovely merchandise to give away from Red Mills this week.
Yes, it's like I'm on the French Alps here at the moment, David. But we're in the northeast of the country currently. But I'm gonna wear this lovely Red Mills merchandise for the duration of the show. Look forward to hearing from Jane later on. And it's a big day, of course, at Gowran Park, and we look forward to meeting everyone on Saturday.
We certainly do. Right, let's get right into the action because we're going to look at the first of the races, which is the Red Mills Trial Hurdle. It's a grade 3 here, Barry. What have you come down on? What do you like?
What I've come down on, David, is Lantry Lady here. She was, I thought she was very impressive when winning on Shamrock Chase Day this time last year. She, of course, beat Silent Approach, Conor Keefsmere, who came out since and won a grade 2 this season over fences. She beat her by 14 lengths. Doing handstands, really, giving her £5. And look, I just like her profile coming into this. Obviously, we haven't seen her since. She wears a tongue strap on her reappearance, but I just get the sense reading the Gordon Elliott Stable Tours that What's Up Darling, last seen 76 days ago and running 5th in the Royal Bond. Look, that looks decent form, but could handicaps at Cheltenham or even perhaps Aintree be, I suppose, in the pipeline in the future? Gordon Elliott, this What's Up Darling, she has to give plenty away. She gives the guts of a stone away here to Lantry Lady, who is a course and distance winner, as mentioned. Henry, very complimentary about Lantry Lady when she won on Shamrock Chase Day in maiden company this time last year. The ground is not going to be an issue. She's related to Annie Power, and looking at what Silent Approach has done since, it's hard to really, I suppose, knock this mare on what she's done on her sole start on the racecourse. And just like the comments afterwards last year from Henry the Bromhead, and I think she has a real decent chance on this ground. And Henry, as we've seen, David, loves his winners at Gowran Park, and in particular on Red Mills Day.
Yeah, absolutely. And interesting as well in that race, Doyen to win is enter for Declan Queally. Kevin Sexton will be on board. You're guaranteed that this is going to go off a real clip. So that could set it up very, very nicely for the 2 you have just mentioned in that Red Mills Grade 3 hurdle. Well, of course, this week, Mrs. Maureen Mullins sadly passed away at the age of 94. And she was known all over the country, far and wide. And our thoughts and prayers go out to the Mullins family at this very, very difficult time as we look ahead to the Grade 2 Red Mills Chase, where her son, Willie, has got St. Sam entered up for the big one on Saturday afternoon, Barry, at Gowran Park.
But yeah, St. Sam, one of 5 entries for Willie Mullins on Red Mills Day itself. And St. Sam, I think, look, Willie Mullins is going for 5 wins in 10 renewals of the Red Mills Chase, and still just 7 years of age, St. Sam. Decent enough sort over fences. Jumps particularly well. Always did over fences, David. And I think the ground is probably going to suit him as well, being heavy. He's won on good ground, but it's, I suppose, looking at his form overall, he's 5 from 7 on soft and heavy ground. So the ground is not going to be an issue. His record fresh is particularly good as well. Obviously, he's coming into this particular contest, the Red Mills Chase, off the back of a long absence, 153 days since we've seen St. Sam. I just think he's the one to beat here. He's well in on ratings. Willie Mullins, a stable form. I think he's going to be hard to beat. Obviously, Willie has had 16 winners in the last fortnight. So incredible stuff. The juggernaut really rolling. Biggest market rival, I think, look, obviously best recent form, Riviera de Tel, we saw her a week ago. I'm surprised she runs, to be in truth. Beaten 4 lengths by Allegory the Vassie. Stepping up and trip and going right-handed will suit her. And she gets weight, but unofficial ratings, looking at St. Sam's record fresh, I think he's the one to be with. He'll be a short price, I'm sure, but he has to go into the 5-cast. And it'll be interesting to see how he fares. One of 5 entries on the day for Willie Mullins.
Grangy and Patrick Mullins.
McGree has justified favouritism, but sharp object out in front will win for John McConnell and Evan Carby.
Western victory, Silver Long. Never read the finishing order.
Connolly's Red Mills is the big day at Gowran Park, and Jane Davis of Red Mills has kindly come along to join us on Champ.ie this week. Jane, I'm sure, like many of us, you're looking forward to a massive day at Gowran on Saturday.
Absolutely, yeah, sure. It's one of the highlights of the year for us, really, is the Red Mills race day at Gowran. So, yeah, can't wait for Saturday. Bring it on.
Yeah, and listen, Jane, tell us about all the preparation that goes in, and I suppose the sponsorship involved with Red Mills and racing, because you've such a big sponsorship, not just alone at Gowran, but right through the country.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it kind of ties back to the business and to the Connolly family. I suppose a lot of people know Red Mills. It is a fifth generation, family business. And we're based here in Goresbridge, and for us, it's the center of the universe. The company, we're exporting the horse feed all over the world. So yeah, sponsorship is a big part of, I suppose, the investment back in the industry that supports us. A huge amount traditionally of the business would have begun within racing. A huge connection back to the Mullins family, and obviously the very sad passing of Maureen this week, Mrs. Mullins. So it was her husband Paddy who, along with William Connolly, first kind of came up with the concept of the feed. There was a horse there. There's a very nice story on that, but the connection goes all the way back to Vulpine in the 60s. But so I suppose the business was really built on horse feed for thoroughbreds and performance horses, race horses. So it makes absolute sense that a huge part of our activity involves back into race sponsorship. So it's grown over the years. Definitely the portfolio of races now is quite significant, alongside the auction series that we do in partnership with the Irish EBF. And then obviously Red Mills Day. I think that Red Mills Day partnership goes back nearly 40 years. I think it originally started in the Phoenix Park before it ever moved to Gowran, and then it's obviously been in Gowran ever since. So it's good.
And of course, Jane, to make it all extra special for the day on Saturday, of course, Red Mills sponsoring the gate as well. So it means people can come along and enjoy the day. It's not too much you get for free these days. So it really makes it extra special. Tell us about how all that works.
Yeah, this is the third year that we'll sponsor the gate for the race day itself. It came about like a lot of change with COVID. Traditionally, we had always done a little bit of hospitality on the race day, but that was kind of hard to manage, and we weren't able to look after everybody. So obviously, that when we got back racing after COVID, it didn't seem right to squeeze everyone into a marquee on the race day, given everything that was going on in the world. So the decision was taken to sponsor the gate instead. And to be honest, it's worked so well. Obviously, you guys know Eddie Scally in the racecourse well, and Eddie's just a great guy to work with. And when we came to him with the idea, it was a no-brainer. So I think what makes it unique is that people have to register for the tickets. So there's still that sense of value. And it's just have to log on and register for 2 free tickets with their email addresses, and then fire away, download the tickets and rock up on the day. So look, I suppose the whole idea of the Red Mills Race Day is to give back to customers. It's a thank you to customers, to the local community. And for us, success is the more people that can engage and enjoy it and be a part of it. So if that sentiment is out there, that's good enough for us.
And Jane, what are we looking forward to, or what are you most looking forward to on Saturday from a racing point of view? Because we've got, of course, the Red Mills Hurdle and Chase on the day. 2 very good races and some nice entries in there.
Yeah, some really nice entries. And then we ended up with 5 runners in each, which I think, kind of given ground conditions and everything, I think is a good result. And a really nice spread of trainers as well, represented in both the races too, which I think always helps make it interesting. But I'm pretty sure you're going to have way better tipsters on than me now to give you insights on the races themselves. But like, 2 great races, and I think traditionally always the hurdle has always thrown an eye towards the Cheltenham Festival. Like, we've seen horses like Denoli and Hardy Eustace, and even the likes of Undersow in the Red Mills Chase kind of use it as their springboard for the rest of the season. So always exciting to see what comes out of it. Some really nice, even more recent winners, the likes of Fieldor and Janadale, and them coming out of both them as well. So look, it's looking forward to seeing how it all unfolds on Saturday.
And I suppose, Jane, as a brand for Red Mills, it must be a great buzz every year when the horses that are fueled by Red Mills go across to Cheltenham, go over and win. That must bring, a sense of great buzz to the company. And, give us an insight to some of those horses that have been fueled by Red Mills that have gone over to Cheltenham, and some that we can look forward to in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I'm sure many of them are trained quite local to us here, obviously down the road in Loughlin Bridge. But I think, for us last year, I think if we do look at the stats. We absolutely do. I think 80% of the Grade 1 winners in Cheltenham Festival last year were fed on the feed. I think all of our team are, our customers to us, like the thrill we get watching the win, you'd swear we were invested in the horses. Oh, I see Brian's truck flash up, and obviously delivered by the main man himself, Brian Doyle. So like as I say, we do track those results. The sales teams, the nutrition teams, all of us, we follow the horses. We absolutely would be bringing them home because it means a lot. I mean, the whole idea is we kind of manufacture a high performance horse feed, so results are what matters. It's what makes it go round. And the horses are well, that they recover from the race as well. They can bounce from one race to the next. And such an intense part of the season. When you look at all the spring festivals coming up, to see a horse kind of show up at each of those festivals, you think, God, they're fit, they're well. So yeah, we kind of see ourselves as a small clog in a very big wheel in terms of producing these horses, but we're very proud of that clog.
David, just to come in, because just on the feed, because Jane mentioned obviously Willie Mullins and the Grade 1s and 80%, but you had the likes of Barry Connell last year, Marie National fell on Red Mills, and obviously Tony Martin's horse Good Time Johnny. So it's a good spread, and Paul
really
Nichols
good
as well, Jane as well.
Oh, listen, it's the spread is what's so important as well. I mean, that's key. It's key for us, but it's also great to see. It makes everything more competitive and more interesting to follow. And the likes of Paul Nichols last year, like he was exceptionally vocal about having come back onto Red Mills. He did leave us there for a little while, but he was very vocal in a lot of his podcasts and interviews, and very interesting to hear like a trainer like Paul. And even we've got interviews with Willie, and you hear them talk about the role nutrition plays in terms of like these animals are athletes. So to fuel them in order to work them, they're literally their training. Like we saw the Cheltenham cameras were in with some of the big yards during the week. You see the work that these horses are doing. So to be able to, know the nutrition is such a big part of that. No different to any athlete preparing for competition.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to the day, Jen. And I know that lovely shiny lorry that we just saw a few minutes ago. We sent Barry down last weekend. He did a great job cleaning it with his dad, who was delivering that horse feed. We're going to look forward to seeing you on Saturday, Jane. And thanks a million for coming on with us this week on Champ.ie.
No worries. Thanks for the support, guys. Much appreciated.
And just David, just before we do let Jane go, just thanks for the merchandise as well, because obviously two lucky.
Yeah, I was going to say you're sporting it very well. Yeah.
Well, it's not the Alps, as I told Ronan on Monday's show. We're sitting here in a warm room in the north of the east of the country at the moment, but about to head into work, so I'll have to do a change. But Jane, just obviously the competition, two viewers, we're going to give away a jacket and a hat, a beanie hat, and we'll give it away tomorrow, which is Friday, as we're recording on Thursday. And all listeners have to do is, of course, put your selection for the Red Mills Hurdle and Chase down below. And you mentioned the entries, obviously fantastic to see Saint Sam take up his engagement. Riviere de Tell, I didn't think she was going to run in the Chase after running just 7 days ago, finished only 4 lengths behind Allegory de Vassy, and obviously the hurdle as well. It was interesting to see Phil Dore, last year's Red Mills Hurdle winner, go for a big fee at the sales as well, Jane. 600 plus, was it?
Oh, outstanding. But it's incredible to see. Like I said, we've seen horses come out of these races and go on and do exceptional things. So, and as I said, same with some of the recent winners there. And look, it'd be exciting to see what comes out of it on Saturday. So fingers crossed the rain stays away and the weather stays sound and we all have a great day.
Right, let's move on to the Reynoldstown Novice Chase, the Grade 2. I was very impressed with Apples Away 2 starts ago when winning, Barry, and I think at the top of the market deserves to be there. Your read on the Reynoldstown?
Well, when we had, of course, Derek Fox on the show earlier on the year, he was very complimentary, and that was obviously before its run at Warwick last time out. And I think it's fair to say she could be the real deal in time over fences. She achieved a rating of 141 over hurdles. She's a Grade 1 winner over hurdles on that form. Obviously, she's the best hurdle form in the race, different discipline, but she jumps well over fences. She's very short, David. The first thing I do when I look at a race like this is see how many can't win, and I can't rule out any of them in truth. After her performance the last day at Warwick, of course, I just wonder, is there another day in mind? Something like the Ultima at the Cheltenham Festival. I remember I got stung on Corach Rambler, Lucinda Russell's charge in this race a couple of years ago. He went on to win the Ultima, and she's off a nice, I suppose, rating for a race like that. So I'm just treading with caution. I've no doubt she's going to be the best horse in the race long term, but I just cannot get involved at the price, and I'm willing to take her on at Ascot, going right-handed with a horse called Henry's Friend. And look, I just thought, I like the way this horse is progressing. We'd Ben on the show last week, Ben Pauling. He mentioned he might have bout of greatness for this race, or Henry's Friend. But Henry's Friend is declared. Ben Jones on board, and he's on a hat-trick bid. I like his profile. He's a reasonably likely race 7-year-old out of a Milan mare. So I think the step up and trip as well from 2.5 miles to 3 is definitely going to suit him. And he's won at galloping tracks in the past, such as obviously Newbury 2 starts ago and at Doncaster. 3 furlongs, and an additional 3 furlongs, definitely a plus. And I thought last time out at Hereford, he was idling. Coming to 2 out, coming to the last. He's a particularly good jumper, but I thought he was idling. I'm not sure he was given everything, and I thought he won a shade snug in the end. So I like Henry's Friend. I think he could be overpriced at 6 to 1. As I said, it's a tricky race. 5 runners in the Reynolds-town. Some of these might have targets later on in the spring, handicap targets such as the Ultima Apples Away. And Henry's Friend, I think this could be D-Day and has an opportunity to land a hat-trick. So with Ben Pauling's charge.
Right, I think it's an intriguing race, and that be a really good one. Right, we're going to look ahead to the 3 o'clock, of course, is the Swinley Handicap Chase, and this again over 3 miles. And for me, 3 under through 5. I've backed him the last twice. He's finished second the last twice. Can 3 under through 5 get the head in front this weekend, Barry?
Well, he's in some form, isn't he? He's in the form of his life, and without winning this season, he's put up some massive performances, as you mentioned, at both Wincanton and at Cheltenham, where he was just beaten by the younger Broadway boy last time out. But the wind surgery seems to have done the trick, because he's definitely a different animal this year, and he could have his own way up front as well. Like he's definitely should be. He deserves to be up there towards the front of the market. Does he tend to find one too good in every race he runs in? Is he just unlucky to follow? The one I like in here, David, is the Skelton runner. And lots has been made about Shan Blue, by the way, 10 years of age. He's a horse that, look, I'd say if you ask the Skeltons about Shan Blue, they'll probably say he never really fulfilled his true potential. It's incredible, 10 years of age. He's had his problems over the years. He ran an absolute cracker at Ascot at this course when last seen over a trip. I thought plenty short for him, 2 mile and 3 furlongs. This horse is a 3 mile horse for sure. And I just like the way he jumped in particular on that occasion. And I love the way, he hit the line. He's 9 pounds lower than his last winning mark over fences as well. So he could be absolutely thrown in a race like this. He's not weak in the market. He's come in for a little bit of anti-post support in the week as well for this race. And lots has been made about the Skelton form as well. I think it's worth mentioning, David, that they've had 2 winners this week and 2 seconds from the runners. So potentially starting to hit a little bit of form. And look at the form as well of that run from Chamblou when last seen over the 2 mile and 3. Harper's Brook was second. Chamblou was third, staying on very well at the finish. And Harper's Brook has come out since and won by 7 lengths. Very cosy next time out for Ben Pauling. So I'd have him down as one of the best bets of the day. Again, you could rule out quite a few of these being exposed. And just to hit the frame as an each way best bet, he's definitely going to be on my list. And at 8 to 1 each way, I thought he was very, very solid to hit the frame and potentially go and win.
Yeah, an intriguing race it is, no doubt about it. Right, don't forget to like, subscribe and comment with your hashtag 5cast selections as we now face in and look at race number 5 of the 5 races this week. That's the 3:15, and John Joe Neal Jr. and Senior, they've got Iron Bridge, who we know will stay and loves the conditions as well ahead of the race, and got a good entry, Barry, for this one. What clues will we get for the Grand National after this 3:15 race at Haydock on Saturday, do you think?
Well, Venetia won the race last year, and obviously it's heavy ground up at Haydock, and she's obviously Fontaine Collonge in here, but just worry about the Venetia Williams stable form at the moment. Horses are not absolutely running at the top of their powers. And look, Iron Bridge, you mentioned him, famous bridge as well, and the Hemming Silks, I think the 2 of those have to enter the calculations. And in truth, I just think Iron Bridge, he's a horse I've liked for a long time now, David. It's John Joe Neal, his form, when I suppose around the Welsh National time, his horses weren't exactly fired at that time. They are now. operated at a 29% strike rate. He's only an 8-year-old. He's only had 7 runs over fences in his life. And I just think there's a big race like this in him on a Saturday, on this type of ground, over this type of trip. And he's unbeaten on heavy ground. He's unbeaten. He's only had 1 start at the course, but he's a course winner. And as I said, just 10 starts in his entire life. Off his official rating, he's definitely, I think, well treated. The question is, I just think everything is in his favour in a race like this. Obviously, second in the Welsh National, staying on nicely, and I think he ran into one on that occasion, Nazalam. I mean, there was no one beating Nazalam on that occasion. Looking at obviously Sam Thomas's runner in the race at Haydock, he's actually running. He was only, I think, 2 lengths behind Ironbridge in the Welsh National. He's on better terms this time around. Difference is with Sam Thomas's runner. He's had plenty of racing, whereas Ironbridge, we mightn't have seen maybe his true running as of yet this season. And I think there's a big race like this in him. And I'm sure if he goes and wins this, he's going to be a player in the Grand National.
Absolutely. Well, good luck to you with your 5 cast selections this week. And there, once again, you can see our 5 races that we have for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course enter your 5 cast selections this week. Right, coming up right after the break, we're going to hear from our very, very special guest on the show this week, Harry Swan. And Harry, it's great to have you on Champ.ie. How are things?
Very good, thanks, lads. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, great to have you on with us. And I suppose, Harry, let's start off by asking you how you got involved and how you got into the game.
Yeah, I suppose I was always kind of born into the game, really. Obviously, Dad was when he stopped riding, he started training, and I suppose grew up in a yard full of horses, and my mum was did a lot of eventing and stuff, and she kind of taught me how to ride and got on all the ponies, and did a lot of pony club when I was younger, and then went on to do a bit more eventing and stuff like that with her. I never really did any pony racing or anything, but kind of Dad retired then, and I started riding out a bit for Dennis Hogue. And then when he was training, when he is still training in our place, so just started through that really.
And from there, then starting out with Dennis, where did it go for you next? And I suppose, like all prospering young jockeys, when you got the leg over the horses, the bug was there, and you wanted to kick on from there.
Yeah, I suppose my grandfather was very good to me. You know, he gave me a lot of rides. You know, and obviously Dad wasn't training anymore, so my grandfather Timmy Hyde, I got a lot of experience from riding in a lot of bumpers for him, and rode my first winner for him in Worcester, and rode my second winner, which was in Ireland, for him as well in Navan, on a horse called Fiddler on the Roof, who turned out, he won a Tolworth hurdle afterwards, so he turned out to be a nice horse. But yeah, just kind of progressed then. I started going, I was in school for, kind of started riding when I was in 5th year and 6th year, and then I went to college then, and I was kind of looking for someone to ride out a bit, and I decided to go into Gordon Elliott's, and kind of took off there that's how it already took off. Jamie Codd was obviously there, and Lisa, and obviously Lisa retired, so I started getting a few rides for Gordon, and a few of the second string bumper horses, and obviously Jamie's not riding this season, so getting plenty of rides from Gordon this season. So it's all going quite well.
Super, Harry. Obviously, it's Red Mills weekend. We're decked out in the gear slick as if we're down at the last fence here, and St. Sam is about to jump to the front in the Red Mills chase. Brigherdaysahead, she won the bumper on the card last year, the Ronan Lawler Memorial. That must have been some feel. You were on board.
Yeah, I know she gave me some feeling that day in Gowran. She barely came off the bridle that day, and she looks a really, really exciting filly to going forward to. She looks to have a right chance in Cheltenham now. She had a good prep run the other day, so all roads lead to Cheltenham with her now. But yeah, she's obviously a serious amount of ability, and she looks a really good one for the future now, hopefully.
And this year's renewal, obviously, the bumper on Red Mills Day, Instant Tendance. That's your ride in the bumper. What do you make of her?
Yeah, she's a nice filly. She's a consistent type of filly. She probably isn't a Brigherdaysahead now. But she's a nice filly. She was a good second in Punchestown the last day, so I think she can improve off that again. And hopefully, she has a good chance. Maybe a little bit worried about if the ground gets a bit softer, but she should have a good chance. Hopefully, I haven't had a proper look through the race yet, but fingers crossed we can have a good chance.
And Gordon seems to have a really decent hand, of course, in the bumper division this year, heading to Cheltenham. You sat on quite a few of them already. Talk us through, I suppose, the ones that are up there towards the front end of the betting for the champion bumper. Starting with Jalon D'Oudaries, how's he? And would he be up there towards the top for you?
Definitely. He did a very good season this year. And he looks a very, very classy horse. He obviously won first time out in Fairy House, and then he won the Good Winners bumper in Leopardstown, and he looked to even improve off what he did in Leopardstown, or what he did in Fairy House. So he's in great form there at the minute. I rode him the other day, and he seems in great form. It's going to be hard to for Jack to think about which one, either Jalon D'Oudaries or Romeo Coolio. So it's hard to split the two of them. He was very, not probably as visually impressive in when he won in Fairy House, but he's a fair horse. I'd say he ran a bit free on the day, and I'd say he hadn't been in a while as well, so I think he'll improve a lot off that, and I think he'll be a big player as well. I can't really split them, to be honest, at the minute. Two big players in the champion bumper, yeah.
And obviously Gordon has never hidden his regard for Romeo Coolio. You mentioned him briefly there. Obviously he's only had the one star. Would you worry maybe with his experience that he hasn't had too much racing heading to the champion bumper? Would Jalon D'Oudaries be a little bit more battle hardened, do you think?
I wouldn't be worried about his experience. He's a point-to-point winner as well. He's done plenty work, in his point-to-point days, and he's working well at home at the minute. So I wouldn't be worried about his experience on the track. I think he'll improve a lot from the last day. So yeah, it's hard to know. I think he's
obviously, Harry.
I definitely wouldn't be worried about his experience.
Obviously, the two of them are not short of ability, but I suppose character-wise, temperament-wise, looking at the two of them physically, how do they compare in that way?
Yeah, Jalon D'Oudaries is probably kind of probably a taller type of a horse. He's and I'd say Romeo Coolio probably is a bit more rounder. He's a kind of a roundier hind end on him, and I'd say Jalon D'Oudaries would probably want a trip in time, I'd say. He's probably going to be a big stayer, big strong stayer in the future. Whereas Romeo Coolio, there's not too many dissimilarities, but I'd say Romeo Coolio could probably stay at 2 miles maybe for the time being, after Cheltenham for a bit longer. So but they're both very similar types of horses. I'd say Jalon D'Oudaries is probably a little bit more laid back than Romeo Coolio. Romeo Coolio can be a little bit hard on himself at times. He can just his head carriage sometimes can come up when he gets a bit keen. But I think they both have serious engines, and like I said, I find it very hard to split the two of them.
And I suppose we have to mention the Yellow Clay as well, because he was running a fine race before, maybe meeting a little bit of trouble in running, and stayed on very well in that, of course, Grade 2 bumper at Leopardstown.
Yeah, exactly. I was very impressed with what he did in Leopardstown. He was off for a while, and it was his first run back, so he's obviously gonna probably come on from that as well. But yeah, I like the way he did it. He met a bit of traffic in running as well, and maybe if he didn't, he probably would have been third, I'd say, which would have been a very good run for him. But yeah, he's another very nice horse to look forward to. Probably gone a little bit outside the bubble. You could say maybe people are probably not looking at him because they've only seen him once this season, and obviously I think he was fifth, or he was fourth, I think. So, but yeah, I think he's a very nice horse. But he obviously won a listed race last season, and he won a bumper before that. So yeah, I give him a fair chance.
Yeah, it's just, I suppose we're on the team of Gordon Elliott. Obviously has really good fancies at Cheltenham. Just wanted to ask in particular about the Stayers Hurdle. Obviously, just from being around the yard, etc. 2 real big players for the Stayers Hurdle. What's your take on it? Teahupoo and Irish Point. How did it compare in your eyes?
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very good race. I think Teahupoo is a proper stayer. And Irish Point, I think, maybe just has a little bit more class than him, in my opinion. Yeah, I think the way Irish Point is kind of versatile, he can run over. He probably can win over 2 and 2.5 and 3 as well. So, I think Irish Point is a little bit more class than Teahupoo, but obviously Teahupoo was very good in Fairy House, and he's having a nice prep before Cheltenham. He hasn't ran before that, but he's doing a nice bit of work at home. So.
Yeah, obviously from an amateur's perspective, Harry, obviously Gordon always does very, very well, in particular in the National Hunt Chase. He's won it 4 of the last 9 years. Obviously this year, I'm sure you'll have your eyes on a couple of the runners' potential rides for yourself in it. Tell us a little bit about Salvador Ziggy and obviously 3-Car Bragg, both left in the entries this week.
Yeah, 3-Car Bragg is obviously a classy horse on his day. I won a bumper on him in Wexford, his first run. So I know him a long time. He's kind of a proper staying type, and he'd be a nice one for the National Hunt Chase. I actually, unfortunately, I need 2 more winners to ride in the race. So 2 more winners over fences to ride in the race. It's a rule that they put in a couple of years ago for the National Hunt Chase. So I'm trying to get those wins at the minute, but it's tough going as an amateur to try to get them. But I'm still looking to do it because I'd obviously love to be riding one of them. So yeah.
And Salvador Ziggy, how's he been since America? Tell us about him.
Yeah, he's in good form. I actually haven't sat on him. I'd say I haven't sat on him at all, really. But the lads are telling me he's in great form. So look, fingers crossed. 3-Car Bragg would probably be my first pick if I was going to choose one in it, I'd say. Just based on his form. But hopefully get those winners over fences. It's quite close. It's quite close before Cheltenham, but hopefully now I can get them done.
We wish you the best. Obviously, the County Tipperary Wi-Fi is playing a little bit of havoc there, David. But looking at you, you have a couple of questions before we wrap up. It's brilliant having you on.
That's the only failings we have in Tipperary. Everything else is pretty good. And finally, just before we let you go, one horse you think is a good thing or a banker for the week at the festival?
I'm gonna have to say Brigherdaysahead. I think she could. I actually think she could win a Ballymore if she went there. But obviously I think she's a certainty in the Mares Novice, to be honest. Jack thinks she's one of the nicest novice hurdlers there at the minute, so I'd have to say her.
Well, listen, it was a pleasure having you on Champ.ie this week. We wish you the very best of luck. Fingers crossed for you leading into Cheltenham, and thanks for coming on with us this week.
Granger and Patrick Mullins.
McGree justifies favouritism, but sharp up deck out in front will win for John McConnell and Alex Harvey.
Western victory, Silverland. That'll be the finishing order.
Yeah, great to hear Harry there and his thoughts and looking ahead to Cheltenham. It's a great old buzz. Right, Barry, we've come to the point of the show where we come along and an important part because we get your best bets and nap selection, best bets and nap selection for the week ahead.
Yeah, there's a couple there, David, that I like this weekend. A couple at Gowran, a couple at obviously Ascot, and I like one up at Haydock as well. We'll start with Haydock because the 425 at Haydock, there's a horse called Great Pepper. Now on ratings, he's plenty to find, but I just thought there was lots in his favour in the Grade 2 Albert Bartlett's 425. It's James Moffat's charge with Charlotte Jones, who's a young rider, of course, was on Luck on Sunday last weekend. It was nice to hear her story. Has progressed through the ranks nicely for James Moffat, unbeaten, and this is his ultimate test really this season. In a race like this, I think it can be competitive, and I just going to put that forward as a best bet each way. That's Great Pepper for James Moffat and Charlotte Jones. One certainly going in the right direction. The other one I like is in the 252 at Gowran Park. It's one of the handicap hurdles on the card, and up there towards the front of the weights, and there's a horse I like in the race, trained by Tom Cooper. It's a horse called The Art to Art, making his handicap debut. Donna Myler booked for the ride. It is a course winner. It'll handle conditions. I thought won nicely at Cork and Maiden Company over the 2 miles on soft to heavy ground, going right-handed, of course, at Cork on the 6th of January. And we ran into what I thought was a real nice horse for Gordon Elliott, with a view to the spring as well. Western Fold up at Down Royal last time out when bidding to back up. Was given weight as well on that occasion. But this was a bumper winner on Thyestes Day for Tom Cooper on, again, soft to heavy ground, of course, last January. And I just think coming into a race like this off an official rating of 121, that would be one of my stronger fancies on the Gowran card on Saturday. I think it has a real lively chance in that. And yeah, just to mention as well, I'm going to put up Henry's Friend. I think it has a squeak at 6-1, definitely overpriced for Ben Pauling. And in terms of a nap selection for the weekend, I'm going with an each way nap this week, David. Shan Blue, I just think it could be well in and stepping up in trip, as mentioned, up from 2 mile 3 furlong to 3 miles this time. I love the way he hit the line last time out. I thought he jumped well. The trip was, as I said, plenty short for him. I just think as an each way bet, 8-1, I'm definitely going to put forward the Skelton runner, which is Shan Blue at 8-1 in the handicap chase at, of course, Ascot at the weekend. Anything stick out for you?
Yeah, 3 under through 5. I'm going to give him one last chance. I really do think he can get his head in front. I think this could be the weekend, and I'm fingers crossed. I'm going to play any myself, and I'm going to give him a bit of a squeak. So 3 under through 5 would be my selection for this weekend's racing. Well, we've come to the end of the show. For those of you who are going along to Gowran Park on Saturday, Barry and I and the Champ.ie team will be live before racing. We'll be previewing all 7 races on the card for you, and do pop over and say hello. We'd be delighted to see you there at Gowran on Saturday. Of course, it is Red Mills Day. Big thanks to Barry. Big thanks to all our special guests on this week's show. And once again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you haven't already done so, do put in your 5 cast entries for this weekend's racing. Big thanks, as always, to Gowran Park Racecourse, Syndicates Racing, KCLR 96 FM, and to our betting partner, Boyle Sports.
Just, David, just to mention, just before you go, obviously, last chance to get involved in the merchandise competition as well.
Yes.
Obviously, the hat, the jacket. We'll be announcing the winner on Friday afternoon. So in the comments down below, put in your selection, separate to your 5 cast, your name, obviously, your location, and tell us who wins the Red Mill Hurdle and Red Mills Chase 2024. We look forward to seeing all the entries, hearing your thoughts. And David, we'll see you on Saturday.